Hi, Mike Hussey here. I'm here at the Wacker ground talking through the new Diablo with Kookaburra and plenty of Ashes chat coming up as well. Well, it brings back good memories looking at the old Diablo. Not that I used it myself, but some of my teammates did. So Damien Martyn, he was probably one that stands out that loved the Diablo and played some unbelievable innings with it. So I used to always like watching his flashing blade. I mean, I played with him at Wanneroo from, when I was very young. So always had a special bond with Mardo. And then I opened the batting with Ryan Campbell for a long time as well for WA. And he loved the Diablo as well. I got to use the Diablo once. I was playing for Australia A against South Africa A, and my bat broke. So I asked Cambo if I could borrow his, and I actually got 100 with it, so I didn't want to give it back. So I had one good experience with the Diablo. Yeah, well, my Mardo memories go back to when I was probably 15 years old, because we played for the same grade team together at Wanneroo, and I used to go down and do the scoreboard, watching the A grade, and watch Mardo just go out there and just blaze them to all parts of Kingsway Reserve, where we played our home games. And then luckily enough to be able to play in the same team as him in the A grade. He was captain of the team, and he was just like so much better than anyone else. Just the way he timed the ball, the shots he could play. I never even dreamed about playing shots like that, And so then obviously he played for Australia when he was quite young, but then had a bit of a break out of the Australian team for a while, and we saw the human side of Mardo. He had to work really hard for WA. He nearly got dropped from the WA team and then finally worked his way back into the Australian team. And that's probably when we saw the best Mardo, the complete Mardo. I think early days he was just so talented, so skilled, but then he worked on the mental side of the game as well. And I think he had about 4 or 5 years there for Australia at the back end of his career, where he was just playing some of the best cricket I've ever seen him play, and a lot of it was with one of these bats. So it was pretty special. Yeah, when he had that run, I just think we just expected him to score runs. He was just in every game. He was just in complete control of his game, how he started his innings. Bowlers just didn't seem to know where to bowl to him, just because he'd never try and swing too hard. He'd just like tap the ball and it just seemed to fly away for 4. He had probably some of the best timing out of any player I've ever seen. And then once he got in, he was just in such a beautiful place in his game where mentally he was really strong. He knew he had the skill. He knew how to build an innings and how the innings was going to play out, and he just got on this run and this groove. And that's when we saw the best of Mardo, when he was sort of on a run like that, when he scored 400 or 500 in a row. Well, my first Ashes memory was I remember my dad used to let me stay up late and watch on the couch with him when they were in England. And I remember Michael Slater getting his first 100. I think it was at Lord's. He tucked it down to fine leg, and I could just see him punching the air. And I remember getting goosebumps at that stage, thinking, wow, that's pretty cool. I wouldn't mind maybe experiencing that one day. And then, well, probably even earlier than that, I remember Alan Border and Jeff Thompson trying to win a test match for Australia at the MCG, and unfortunately fell just short. But that was the day that I was actually a right-hander until about 8 years of age, but I wanted to be like Alan Border. So after we lost that game at the MCG against England, straight out in the backyard, tried to bat left-handed to be like AB. So they're probably my earliest Ashes memories. And then it's just a dream to actually play in an Ashes series. There's so much history and tradition to sort of get the opportunity to actually play. You just feel like, oh wow, I'm part of history now. For the next 100 years, they're going to talk about certain Ashes series, and you just feel so fortunate to be involved in them. I was part of the one-day series in 2005, but I didn't play in the Test matches. So the hype was huge in England, and obviously they won the urn that time. But my first Ashes experience was the following Ashes series in Australia, 2006-07, and the guys that were involved in 2005, they were still hurting. And I remember being part of a few team meetings before that series started, and I've never seen a group of players so determined and so focused to play well in that series. And we got off to a great start, winning the first Test match in Brisbane, and then it was just like put the foot on the throat and just do not give England a sniff. We had amazing Adelaide in that series. We were able to win the series here, at the Wacker ground in front of friends and family, which is amazing. Then Warnie's 700th in Melbourne at the MCG, and then the retirement of 3 legends with Langer and McGrath and Warnie after Sydney. It was just one of those dream series to be a part of, where you just feel lucky to be involved, but I've just never seen a team just so determined to just really crush England after the disappointment of 2005. for me personally, it was such a long journey to get to the Test match arena. I was 30 years of age, so it just feels like it was part of the end of a long journey. So many ups and downs along the way, playing in the backyard with my brother Dave, getting, playing for WA, getting dropped from the WA team, working your way back up, and then finally getting opportunity. Bill Brown presented me my baggy green cap, who at the time was the oldest living Australian Test player, which was really special. But then literally half an hour later, I was walking out to open the batting for Australia with Matty Hayden, and I did not handle the emotions well at all. It was just that probably 10 years of built up emotion all coming out at one point, and I couldn't concentrate. I could hardly see the ball. I was nowhere mentally, and I didn't last very long. I got out for one run. We won the Test match, and I remember sitting back afterwards thinking, I'm so happy I've been able to play a Test match. I've worn a baggy green cap. I've got a baggy green cap now, but I wanted another chance to prove to myself and maybe the world that I could actually succeed at that level as well. So thankfully, Justin Langer was still injured for the second Test match, and I was able to get a second go at it, and I just felt so much more relaxed then. I could just go out and prepare it like I normally would and play my sort of way, and thankfully was able to get a few runs and stay in the team. Well, I've got to say, I don't think there's been as much hype about a series that we're about to have than any other series that I can remember. The hype's been huge. And for me, I think the most exciting thing is I actually don't know what to expect. I don't know what's going to happen. There's so many question marks on both sides of the camp. Like, can the England bowlers stay fit for 5 Test matches? They're obviously going to come in and bowl, lots of pace and bounce. But are their batsmen going to be able to stand up on the fast bouncy pitches of Australia? I'm sure they're going to be aggressive and look to take the game on. There probably won't be many draws, the way McCullum and Stokes like to go about it. But then even with the Aussies, no Pat Cummins, no Josh Hazlewood for the first Test. There's question marks over the Australian attack. Scotty Boland's now, one of the front liners. He's been a backup guy for a couple of years and done an unbelievable job. It looks like Brendan Doggett's going to get an opportunity as well. So there's just so many questions on both sides that I honestly don't know what's going to happen, and I think that's what I'm so excited about.